Hey guys, this episode is for those hardcore Norwood fans because I've been suddenly receiving a lot of inquiries asking me about Norwood or actually even debating with me about Norwood in some instances. Not sure whether they are actually consulting about Norwood or they're just trying to seek assurance when they themselves are actually uncertain about it lah. Or maybe they're just trying to get me to maybe put in a check to buy it in as well. Look, I'm not stopping you. If you're truly believing in it and willing to put a few million on the line for the next few years in uncharted territories, then please go ahead. But I myself, I'm not so adventurous when it comes to property investment. I'm definitely not a hero, so I'm staying clear this time round for this. Real estate is not so simple. It's not just a quantum or just a simple PSF game. There are a lot of other factors involved in it. It is naturally complex, especially the entry and also the exit part, which is actually the most important. That's why profits can be very high, but when it comes to losses, some places can also lose a lot of money. I understand that some prospective buyers, they may be pretty high income earners or professionals in their own views. You may be good in your own views and hence may have pretty strong opinions in a lot of things, especially real estate also in this sense. But like I mentioned, real estate is my field, is my work. So I would say I know quite a lot compared to most people in the market lah. There's a reason why when we're sick we go to the doctor and when we need legal advice we go to the lawyer, right? You get what I mean? Anyway, we will not waste time. Let's just look at some data that you may want to consider before you jump into the queue for Norwood this weekend. First, we look at the 3-bed plus study. This is where it gets interesting because over here it seems that the study is just this small space over here. I'm not sure why they call it a study. Maybe it could have been a storage, but they just managed to change it to a study to make it sound nice. Pretty good marketing gimmick to get people interested because after all it's still a 3 plus study. How do they actually squeeze a 3 plus study into a 883 square feet? And then when you actually look at the floor plan, then you will realize what is actually happening over here. If we compare to what I mentioned previously, I would like to use Bellwoods in this sense, even though yes, I know it's an EC, but it is the newest, pretty much private development in this area, even though it is not as close to MRT, but it is not that far away. There is a side gate that is directly opposite to the bus stop and about 3 stops away to the MRT lines. That's why I don't consider it that far away from MRT. It is definitely quite a strong competitor in that sense. Then over here, we can see that the indicative 3 plus study starting from 1.698 million. If you look at somewhere around the middle floor, maybe pretty decent facing, you'll be looking easily at 1.75 and above just for that smaller size. And then if we compare to those that are transacting at Bellwoods over here, 936 square feet, 1.225 million transacted just in the middle of this year, because I'm thinking the one that is the smallest and closest to this example over here, which is 883, and then we take a comparison. After all, this is still quite a decent study over here as compared to this one. So naturally, I think this layout is better in that sense, other than this bedroom, which is a little bit smaller. Kitchens are pretty much comparable. That's why I would say this is quite a comparable layout when it comes to Bellwoods versus Norwood Grand. But when it comes to the quantum, if you're assuming a $1.75 million purchase versus a 1.225 at this point, we are looking at a quantum difference of about $525,000, which is a huge chunk of money given somewhere that is not even that far away from MRT versus something that is not exactly just beside the MRT. Let's move on to the 4-bedder. Now we have 2.238 million starting from for 4 plus study. Let's see the 4 plus study. How is it? Like the floor bar study over here is pretty decent. You finally have a decent study over here. There's a household shelter, so-called yard over here, and also even a WC. If we compare to that of Bellwoods, you have one that is bigger, one that is smaller, but I compared to something that is similar in terms of size to Norwood Grand 1173, the smaller one, which is similar to this one in terms of sizing, but this is, we can assume that this takes over this, but it doesn't have a study over here, okay, somewhere around here versus this one. That's why I would say this one is closer to this one because of the study over here, and then there's a yard, WC, and even a utility. But the living room is definitely more spacious and welcoming. Over here is 1345 square feet. Examine the numbers over here. 13 something. This guy transacted about 1.6 plus. If we look at recent transaction, I would still think that it's probably at about 1.6 plus million dollars. Average over here for the bigger one, because this one is a smaller unit, there is also a 13 something square feet at Norwood Grand. If we take that versus, let's say, we just take an average for the smaller ones, 1.5 million, compared to something that is definitely not the lowest floor, not the worst facing, somewhere a little bit better, and we extrapolate to maybe about $2.3 million, this will easily be a quantum difference of $800,000, which is a very significant factor when it comes to the resale market next time when you want to offload. Ultimately, is this so-called quantum gain that a lot of people are throwing around, is this more than what meets the eye? And do you actually know how to play this quantum game? Because a lot of people think that, hey, Norwood Grand, this is going to be the cheapest in the market right now and therefore the most affordable, and that's why I can go in today. But if you use some of the other examples, like I know quite some people, they like to use the example of Treasure at Tampines last time being the cheapest in the market, but it doesn't necessarily apply here. Why? Because let's take a look over here. Last time Treasure at Tampines was transacting over here, you can see this one. This was definitely way past its launch date, almost, I think definitely more than 2 years past its launch date. The 4-bedder was transacting 1.8 something million. And nearby, Treasure at Tampines, somewhere there is very close to MRT, for Simei MRT, you kind of know which one it is. And then if you look at the 4-bedder over here, I just pull out the layout because this is a junior master, this is a master. Bedroom 2, 3, total of 4 bedrooms. Sale price previously was at 1.7 million. If this resale back then was only 1.7 million, and then this one at Treasure and Tampines, difference of quantum only about $100,000 plus. I would say this is quite decent because it's quite easily replaceable. 4-bedder, for 4-bedder, you have something that is newer. Of course, this one is the MRT factor, but it doesn't affect that much because you can see that this guy managed to make $500,000 plus within just slightly over 3 years. Whereas at this point, the difference is only about 100,000 plus. But if you look at the 4-bedder over here, now we are talking about $800,000 plus quantum difference. Is this actually a fair comparison with Treasure at Tampines for Norwood Grand? So you gotta know what you are actually playing with. It's not gonna be so simple as it is. So I shall not spend too much time on this. These are just one of the factors that a lot of people don't realize that it more than meets the eye. Anyway, for those people who are still going ahead, the rest of the market is dependent on you to push our PSF up and hopefully also push the optimism of the market as well. So we will anxiously wait for your performance to help push the rest of our investment up as well. If not, then anything else, feel free to PM me and hopefully not to debate with me because I'm pretty sure on my stand in this as well. If not, if you find that this is helpful for you, please help to like, share, destroy the like button, and then comment if you feel you have any other opinions. And that will be all we have for today. See you guys. Take care. Bye bye.